Baby Boom to Aging Boom, Indiana at the Crossroads is made possible by the Indiana Senior Fund, supporting programs for our community seniors that promote health and wellness, ensure that basic needs of low income are met, enable older adults to reside in environments of their choice, and provide life-affirming opportunities.
10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every day. The U.S. Census numbers project that will add up to more than 83 million seniors by 2030, nearly double the senior population from just 3 years ago. While many lead healthy and active lives, others experience physical, mental, or financial setbacks.
There's estimated to be 5.3 million people in America who have dementia.
Mental and physical weaknesses can leave older adults vulnerable to fraud. While many seniors worry about declining bank accounts, others experience a loss at meal times.
People aren't going to necessarily come out and say, I don't have enough food.
Other seniors may feel powerless once they give up the horsepower of their vehicle.
It's also, can I get to the doctor? Can I get to church? Can I get to the grocery store?
Planning ahead for declining health issues can give seniors more options.
I think the fatal flaw that most families make is they try to make really difficult decisions in the heat of the moment.
Families and communities need to prepare. From the baby boom to the aging boom, Indiana is at a crossroads. For a senior, a telephone should be a way to reach out to friends and loved ones, or when emergency strikes, a lifeline. A ringing phone should not strike fear in the heart. Yet that's exactly what happens to many older Hoosiers who've become the victims of fraud.
I don't trust anyone anymore. I just don't trust anyone. If I don't recognize who's calling, I will not answer that phone. It's just made me leery of everyone.
Seniors are definitely targeted. They answer the telephone, they're friendly, and they have money. And that's exactly what a fraudster is looking for.
Michelle Mayer of the Attorney General's office travels the state, educating Indiana seniors and their families about the myriad of scams being perpetrated against our oldest citizens.
The area where we see the most scams would be imposter scams, where someone is contacting a senior citizen and pretending to be a business, a government agency, their credit union, their bank, their credit card company, Publishers Clearinghouse, the IRS. They can manipulate the caller ID, and they're convincing the individual to trust them and then send them money or share personal information.
Mayer says it's impossible to tell how much money Hoosier seniors are losing to fraudsters because the victims are too embarrassed to report what they've done. However, the Federal Trade Commission reports that billions of dollars are lost every year to schemes. Juanita and Mary Jane are just two of those victims. Juanita's husband of over 60 years required a caregiver.
He said, I think I made a mistake with Kathy. And I said, why? Well, he said she was telling me how hard they was having it and everything. And he said, I give her a chance to use my credit card. And that's where it started. From then on, life just got worse.
Juanita lost over $21,000 and her identity was stolen before she could get help and staunch her losses. Mary Jane was finally forced to break the serious news to her children.
And when I told my son how much I had lost, he went out in the kitchen and almost went ballistic. And I said to both of them, I have lost your inheritance for you.
Mary Jane, a competent, educated teacher and business owner, had been scammed, not once, but twice. She ultimately lost $250,000 to fraudsters.
He had an accent, and he was calling me from Washington, D.C. and telling me that I had won $1.5 million. And all I needed to do was go to Western Union and pay some taxes, as I recall. Anyway, I said to him initially, if this is a scam, I am turning you in. And he said, oh no, I'm a Christian. I wouldn't do anything like that. So the word Christian hooked me.
That first scheme cost Mary Jane $20,000. Thinking she was smarter after that, she nonetheless fell prey to yet another fraudster. Someone masquerading as a legitimate law firm in Florida hooked her again with the potential of big winnings.
You establish a relationship with these people. I mean, they knew exactly how to inflect and exactly the words to use. And they would re-hook me every single time.
While she will never see the bulk of her money returned, Mary Jane is nearly finished wiping out the debt she incurred trying to claim her so-called millions.
One of the things that we try to do is protect consumers. So good consumer protection would be going out and reaching individuals before they receive one of these telephone calls so that they know not to send money, not to share personal information, and to just hang up.
I'm not answering those phone calls.
The thing that can be a problem is when parents and children are not on the same page. It's real important to talk to them about telling authorities and let them be empowered with the idea that they can help others.
Meals on Wheels.
Vulnerability takes on many faces among older Hoosiers. Bill and Betty are retired professionals. Bill, a high school math teacher, and Betty, a librarian. And Bill can manage their food budget fairly well. What he cannot manage on his own is Betty's progressive memory loss.
Beef tips and noodles and green beans.
Proper nutrition plays a major role in the health of the aging, but since the recession of 2008, the number of seniors facing food insecurity nationally has doubled, up to 12%.
There is more of a likelihood for certain groups to be food insecure. So older adults who have a disability, living with a grandchild. Some of our minority populations, African American or Hispanic populations, tend to be more food insecure. Interestingly, what we refer to as younger old, so more the 60 to 69 group, tend to be more food insecure than the middle old or very old 70 to 80 and 80 plus groups.
Bill and Betty receive regular deliveries of specially prepared food from Meals on Wheels. While the couple don't need the deliveries to survive, it's a great weight off Bill as he cares for his wife.
It's real good. You get hot meals at noon and a cold meal in the evening, and you don't have to worry about buying and cooking food.
Meals on Wheels.
Food deliverer Andy continues on her route, taking meals crafted carefully at Eskenazi Hospital to meet the client's specific nutritional needs until one knock goes unanswered.
Miss Castanola, are you in there?
We're not this gigantic organization. You know, we're very grassroots, so we need these volunteers to actually pick up the meals at these hospitals. They need to take these meals to these clients. They need to check on these clients. There are eyes and ears to make sure that everything's going okay. The role that we play with these clients is crucial to help them maintain their independence in their home and to stay healthy.
Thanks.
A good ending.
Bye-bye.
It looks as if the client simply forgot to alert the delivery service that they wouldn't be home. Meals on Wheels works with many partners to provide hundreds of meals every week to clients who face difficulties accessing highly nutritional food on their own. But a special new program with Eskenazi Hospital now provides an extra layer of security for seniors released from hospitalization.
Through this partnership with Meals on Wheels and the grant that was made possible through the Central Indiana Senior Fund, we are going to be able to attend to the nutritional needs of our patients when they're discharged from the hospital as we attend to all the rest of their needs. And it is at least as important that we attend to nutrition after hospitalization as it is to make sure that we get them on the right medications and that they have access to those medications.
The Sky Farm at Eskenazi Hospital is a manifestation of Harris's passion for educating staff, patients, and families about the importance of good nutrition to good health at any age. It takes center stage with the hospital's senior patients.
We spend time in education about the foundational importance of good nutrition, and then we make that good nutrition possible through this grant that provides free meals for 30 days post-discharge. And Meals on Wheels are therapeutic meals. So if someone has heart failure, we make sure that they're getting a low-sodium diet.
People aren't going to necessarily come out and say, I'm hungry or I don't have enough food. Many people who are food insecure likely don't even know that they're food insecure. Sometimes it's difficult for us to even identify those who are food insecure because it's not necessarily who we think. More than half of the people who are considered food insecure don't meet the criteria for being poor.
So how does food insecurity, or undernutrition, as Dr. Harris of Eskenazi calls it, look in the everyday lives of seniors? With at least 50% of older adults who are hospitalized suffering from malnutrition, understanding the culture of food in a senior's life takes on extra importance.
It's not just, I don't have enough money to buy food and that's why I'm hungry or food insecure.
Add to these issues the idea that men and women tend to eat differently from one another when they find themselves alone in their older years. Those who make it their work to make sure seniors are getting the nutritional meals often see that men will eat with others or alone, but that women prefer to dine in groups. The agency, called Second Helpings, which rescues unused food from wholesalers, retailers, and restaurants before it can go to waste, works with its partners to fill not only the nutritional gap, but the human gap as well.
All of our meals go to congregate agencies, so places where people are gathered to eat. Not the individual meals, but the group meals. And that's a great chance for seniors to socialize or take part in a program.
Second Helpings prepares healthy, nutrient-dense meals in its own kitchen, meals that are, like those of Meals on Wheels, delivered by volunteers at no cost, but the payoff can be life-saving.
The biggest challenge for agencies that I hear is that getting the seniors to the program, inviting somebody just in for a meal, doesn't seem to work as well as having people either come in for a program or a speaker or having them volunteer to help serve other families and things. Food is the great connector, and it is the thing that brings people together, and it's a common language that people can speak is food and memories around food and the idea of a mealtime. It really lights our fire when we hear people who've lived next door to each other that didn't know each other but came somewhere for a meal are now carpooling together and riding together and having a relationship outside of just the meal that they have at the agency, that it's really opening worlds for seniors.
One morning I got up and my van stopped on German Church Road.
That was the day 81-year-old Ira Preslaff decided to quit driving.
It was an icy, cold day, and that was the end of my transportation.
It happened a few years ago as he headed to his job as a substitute teacher.
I got out of my car, and with my cane, I walked to the back of it and pushed it off and rolled down a hill. And then I hitchhiked back home, and I figured if I want to have the things in life that I need right now, I don't need a car.
Preslaff has depended on his own car for transportation since he was 17. Now he relies on other drivers or his motorized wheelchair to get to places from his independent living apartment in Indianapolis. In good weather, he often heads to the Monon Trail. The paved path connects him to the nearby Nora shopping area.
For some, it's just the cost of owning and operating and maintaining a car. For others, it's the physical ability to drive becomes a challenge for people. And in our community, we are so dependent on individual transportation. We don't have a lot of mass transit options.
Orion Bell runs Socoa Aging and In-Home Solutions. The nonprofit agency helps older adults find public transportation and other services to maintain their independence. Bell says more than 25% of Central Indiana seniors don't drive.
There are large sections of the county that are not especially walkable. And so the lack of an automobile becomes not just a question of having a car, it's also, can I get to the doctor, can I get to church, can I get to the grocery store, can I maintain those other kind of connections that I have in the community that I sort of take for granted if I can just grab the car keys and go.
Sequoia provides trips with its own fleet.
This is Cindy. How may I direct your call?
Or by subcontracting with other companies. Preslaf qualifies for the agency's paratransit service for those who have trouble using regular public transportation or need wheelchair assistance. Indianapolis Yellow Cab driver Brian Martin takes Preslaf to places like the grocery store and the VA Center for cancer checkups.
These short trips and looking out and seeing everything is like an adventure to me. I laugh at myself because I remember how my mother used to sit and gaze out the window like she was on a grand tour. Well, I'm on a grand tour now.
Clients pay for rides with vouchers or taxi discount coupons. Martin makes nearly 30 round trips like these a week.
Sometimes they're in a nursing home, they want to go back home for a while and visit with family. I've taken people that are flying out, going to the airport. So instead of just driving around, I'm helping people out during the day.
Once a month, Preslaf schedules his major food shopping trip after he receives his Social Security check in the mail.
I'm like one of these rag dolls where you got to get those strings in the right place, then I can move. Ooh, they're smaller too. I am going to go find the peanuts. This is not the place for me to be.
Seeking transportation to the store and elsewhere in the community allows seniors to stay involved and ultimately avoid isolation.
Yeah, there's my favorite guy. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you.
Getting a ride requires seniors to ask for help, something most of them don't like to do after a lifetime of independence. Back at the apartment, Preslaf gets help with the groceries.
Is there a certain way you like to use in the fridge?
Yeah. Well, Brian, I don't know what I do.
Thanks, Ira.
Meanwhile, neighbor Pat Quinn offers rides to friends who no longer drive.
When I first started doing it, I just did it as a favor here or there. But then I actually let people know that I'd be happy to give them rides.
Today he takes Marge Ryan to her weekly appointment at the hair salon.
They rearranged all my plants. It is meaningful. It gives you a sense of fulfillment. I can do something that they are not able to do any longer in their lives. And I'm never put out. I don't have a busy schedule. It makes me feel good.
Access to transportation is crucial for seniors to stay connected. That's why it's best for them to ask lots of questions before they downsize or move to a senior community.
If you're anticipating not being able to drive, it's really different if you're looking at a facility that maybe says we offer transportation. There, I'd say be really clear about how long and how often you anticipate that occurring.
Sharon Baggett with the University of Indianapolis Center for Aging and Community suggests seniors look for facilities with an established bus schedule and occasional planned outings. These Crestwood Village residents feel lucky about heading to a casino in Shelbyville.
The seniors get together, we socialize, we go up and have a lunch, and we just sit there and have a ball.
Baggett says 60% of seniors have never taken public transit. Some have not had a need, others are simply unfamiliar with the system.
If you all of a sudden tomorrow lost your car, would you know the bus schedule and the bus stop closest to you? I'm asking you.
Some communities offer a peer training program to help seniors with public transit.
How do you ride? How do you figure out the schedule? You know, how do you know if it's safe? Where's the closest stop to your house?
Indianapolis is known for its low cost of living, but the sprawling suburbs, lack of sidewalks, and limited access to neighborhood stores create some barriers to connectivity. However, a number of improvements are underway.
There's a project called Plan 2020 that looks at the neighborhoods and neighborhood spaces and really looks at the livability of the community. And part of that livability is accessibility and walkability in those areas. Rezone Indy looked at rezoning and zoning requirements for construction in the community.
Such plans provide a roadmap for a more accessible and enjoyable community for all, no matter what age. Becoming a senior at 65 is just a number. Life marches on. Many older adults continue to work, volunteer, and enjoy active social lives. Staying involved seems to be the secret to quality of life.
You need to keep busy, you need to be looking for things to do, you need to look outside of yourself to just keep doing the things you've been doing and enjoying them.
But down the road, as the years add up, so do health concerns.
I'm still swelling.
Where are you swelling?
My feet.
Geriatrician Dr. Patrick Healy cares for some of the most aged and frail seniors in Indianapolis. As part of his outpatient clinic, he travels to nursing facilities like Hooverwood, where his clients live.
If I look at what my quality of life is at my level and I compare it to theirs, I don't think that's fair. You have to ask them, what is fun for you? What is worth living to you? And it may be very different than what my concept of their quality of life is.
Looking at an older person's physical health is just one part of the equation.
You have to get the medical part correct, the diagnoses and the treatment and the medications, but often that's not enough. And sometimes you have to broaden your horizon and look at the social circumstances, what's the psychological situation, and then ask questions about how functional these people are.
To compile an accurate picture of the whole situation, it takes the assessment of doctors, nurses, family members, and the seniors themselves, like Martha Bear.
What's your quality of life? What's your feeling about that?
I think it's great.
Yeah?
Yes.
So,
I would give it high marks. I'm not sure, though.
He finds out what makes it worth waking up each day.
What gets me out of bed? Looking forward to another day. At least every day we have plans. And I know that I'm going to play bingo tomorrow, and I enjoy it.
Across town, Keith Bentley likes to play his guitar for others. He's a guest at Joy's house, one of more than a dozen adult day services in Indianapolis. The innovative approach gives seniors a place to go during the day, while their caregivers head to work or take a respite. The concept allows some seniors to live at home longer.
A lot of it is having a place to go, having a reason to get up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, get dressed, come out into the world, and come to a place where people know your challenges and know your limitations, but we also know your name and what you like.
Out on the patio, guests who like music take part in a sing-along. Meanwhile, indoors, others help McIntosh name her family's new pets.
You gonna help me name my chickens? Maybelline? Oh! All right, I need to write these down. I need you to help me name my chickens. That's what I said. It's weird, I know.
Joy's House operates as a nonprofit and non-medical model of an adult day service. Some are for-profit businesses or offer skilled care. Bentley, who has dementia, comes here so his wife Jane can continue her full-time job.
Not really prepared for it until the doctor said that she didn't feel that it was safe for him to be at home by himself during the day anymore. It's made a world of difference. Just that I can know that he's in good hands, not just someplace to drop him off where he stays all day.
There's estimated to be 5.3 million people in America who have dementia. Now, that number is hard to understand, but that's the same number of people who have congestive heart failure, which is extraordinarily common and treatable, and people are aware of it. But yet, there is a huge knowledge gap in how to deal with it.
The National Institutes of Health says a person meets the criteria of having dementia when 2 or more brain functions become impaired. The list includes problems with memory, language skills, visual perception, paying attention, problem solving, and performing everyday tasks. Planning ahead for the possibility of declining health is important for individuals and their families.
I think the fatal flaw that most families make is they try to make really difficult decisions in the heat of the moment. And once you've dialed 911, that's a lousy time to make the hard decisions. The hard decisions around the dinner table growing up.
Many times we see a crisis come up. You know, somebody falls, somebody has a diagnosis, it's not a really good diagnosis. And so many times a crisis will bring us to the point where something has to be done.
Elder law attorney Carol Applegate says people have more options when they plan ahead. If they don't designate a power of attorney and become incapacitated or can't make decisions for themselves, a guardianship is necessary.
It also becomes necessary, frankly, when families are in dispute. It's not unusual to have families who just disagree over what's to be done with mom. Should she go into a nursing facility? Shouldn't she be cared for at home? Who's going to be managing the financial affairs? Do you trust your brother to do that?
Ken Bennett, executive director of the Center for At-Risk Elders, a public interest law firm, says such disagreements often prompt the courts to decide who should become the guardian.
We also have a large number of folks who may have family, but they're really not suitable family. They've been the subject of exploitation or abuse or neglect at the hands of these family members. So the doctors or adult protective services oftentimes are feeling like these are not suitable ones to be guardian, and so they come to us to step in.
Unlike some other states, Indiana does not hire employees to act as public guardians. Instead, it has begun to help fund volunteer programs like the center to provide adult guardianships. That money allows staff and trained volunteers to direct support and health care for those who don't have any other systems in place. The sheer number of people crossing the threshold from middle age to senior status will make an impact for years to come. It has begun to prompt changes in the healthcare system.
I can be judged not only on how many people I see, but how many people I keep at a higher level of function, keep out of the hospital, keep at home.
I feel great. Well, let's say at 91, it's hard to feel great, but I feel good.
With the senior population quickly gaining momentum, families search for options.
There are resources out there for us to tap into so that we can get the help that we need as a caregiver.
It is possible to grow older and maintain a good quality of life.
I'm probably as happy as I've ever been in my life.
Planning ahead for changes in the later chapters of life can help keep the glow in the golden years.
When you have a twin sister and she's as old as you are and you're still living, that's something to be thankful for.
I have this little 10 by 10 garden full of beautiful flowers, and people ride by in their bicycles and walk their cute little dogs by, and they play with me. What could be better? I don't need any more. That's it.
Baby Boom to Aging Boom, Indiana at the Crossroads is made possible by the Indiana Senior Fund, supporting programs for our community seniors that promote health and wellness, ensure that basic needs of low income are met, enable older adults to reside in environments of their choice, and provide life-affirming opportunities.